Hi everyone, from Poti I've moved on to the city of Kutaisi, and this is the city center. This beautiful river flowing right through, and this bridge is pretty cool. You can look right down into the river. Hope the fear of heights doesn't trigger you too much, but let's go outside of the city center and find some cool stuff here. Let's go. Well, here we are on the outskirts of Kutaisi. Let's look for some abandoned buildings like I always do on this channel. But normally they're not as recent as this one. Even the ones I visited in Athens from the Olympics there were not as recent as this big abandoned building that we're about to see. And there's an interesting story behind it as well. So let's go have a look. The building I'm talking about is this giant dome here in the background. It was built under President Saakashvili, famous former president of Georgia, as the Georgian parliament. It housed the Georgian parliament for a short time, and it was decided to build here for two main reasons. One, to develop this region, the coastal region, which was considered underdeveloped, and another one was that in case Russia would invade again, which they already had experience with, and Tbilisi would fall, they would still have a secondary head of government here in Kutaisi. But the subsequent government decided that it's not useful to have the parliament here in Kutaisi while the rest of the government sits in Tbilisi, in the capital. So they moved the parliament back in the end of 2018 back to Tbilisi. And now this building sits not quite abandoned. I think there's still a few guards around, but it definitely sits unused, with its purpose unclear. Quite a shame, because it's an impressive building. All along the big impressive walkway that's approaching the parliament, you see these little stickers, and I think they say keep 2 meters distance, and that is quite optimistic if you consider the current state of the walkway. Completely empty. The glass dome and the structure are indeed impressive, but it's said that in the summer, on a hot day like today, it's incredibly hot today, it's absolutely unbearable inside. When Saakashvili, the president, was faced with this criticism, he said, I prefer government buildings to be made out of glass because it represents transparency. The lake is dry and the fountain is silent, and these art installations look like alien trees growing out of this eerily deserted landscape. Very strange, but let's see what else Kutaisi has in store for us. Let's go! Now, these poor guys must have thought they struck gold when they opened the coffee shop right next to the parliament, only to close a couple of years later. But let's give them some business, shall we? Thank you very much. Kutaisi is built on a hill. From the top you have a wonderful view, but not only that, there's also a very old school looking cable car, so let's go for a ride. So far, the exploration of Kutaisi on this scorching hot day in Georgia. I'm going to cool off somewhere. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, see you next Sunday for the next video.